Welcome to Sightseeing Japan, the podcast where we explore the land of snow and ice. I'm Paul Bresson.
And I'm Jason Nealing, the cool one. And welcome to Season 8.
How do you know how to respond to that?
That's not me saying that. That's from the listeners. They held a vote on their own.
Do cool people need to tell everyone they're cool?
I'm just presenting the results, the consensus among our listeners, that's all.
Okay. Fair enough. I'll allow it. You are pretty cool.
Thanks. You are too. You were a close runner-up.
Okay. Also cool, just not quite as cool. Well, it's nice to see you in America again, Jason.
It's good to see you too, though. I think I preferred seeing you in Japan, frankly.
Yeah. Everything's better in Japan, even Paul.
The whole world just gets a little brighter in Japan.
Yeah, we just got back. It's been less than a week, and the jet lag has never hit me this hard. I'm still messed up, dude.
Wow. It's been 3 days for me, and I have noticed I don't feel it too much during the day, but I feel it when I try to watch TV or read or something. It's just immediately I just start falling asleep.
Yeah. Yesterday was the worst for me. I think I slept from 7 p.m. to 1:30 a.m., and then I went back to bed at 4:30 and slept a few more hours. It's been messed up.
I've been good at not napping during the day and waiting until a reasonable time to go to bed.
Yeah.
I did sleep 10 hours last night, probably.
There you go. I've just been getting so tired after dinner every day. But I got the weekend coming up. I'll get back. I'll get back right.
Yeah, sure won't take too much longer. But we had a pretty good trip, huh?
That was quite the adventure.
Yeah. Things didn't quite go as planned. I feel that's always the case. It never goes exactly as planned, but...
Right, we got a few things that came up.
Yeah.
Everyone at work is like, how was Japan? And it's like, how do I take this 18-day amazing adventure of a vacation and convey to people? I'm just like, yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
You know?
My manager asked me, what was your favorite thing you did? And it's I can't even begin to answer that. We did so much.
Right.
I just have to say, the food. I ate a lot of great food.
Yeah, they can't go wrong with the food.
I miss it already. So this is going to be our trip recap part 1. We're going to go through the first week of our 3-week vacation. And I have my photos on the screen here in front of me and Paul to help us remember what happened. I took a lot more videos than photos this time because, like I did for our last trip, I'm going to put together a video and then we're going to do a video recap that's going to be on Patreon. So if you want to see any of the stuff that we're talking about, you can check out our Patreon.
Yeah, those last few I think turned out really cool.
I think it's really fun to put those together and just have that for ourselves too.
The amount of times I saw you stop and take a video, this one's going to be an hour and a half long of 5-second clips.
I tried to keep them 3 to 4 seconds so it wouldn't get too out of hand.
Okay, all right, fast paced.
But
did you curate these photos at all?
No, this is all of them.
Okay, so how long is it going to take us to click through these?
I don't know.
You did say you took less this time, so maybe we can do all right.
Well, should we just get started, Paul, with picture number 1 of 1,563?
Oh, boy.
This is Shinagawa Tobu Hotel, where I stayed on my first night. I've been staying there for the first night of the last few trips. It's very conveniently located near Haneda Airport. So, on to picture 2 of 1,563. This is my first meal.
You're so predictable.
Gotta get those fami cheeky.
And the egg sando and the krats, the bacon-flavored krats.
Oh, wow. You even recognized the krats without, I cut off the name there.
I've seen them and smelled them enough times.
They're tasty. So yeah, basically I just settled in at the hotel, got some food from the kombini, and then I got a very disturbing text from Paul.
Yeah. So I was supposed to fly out the next day right after Jason, and the night before, I just realized, oh crap, I'm sick. I was feeling worse and worse all day. I got all my packing done and everything, and I tried to sit down and play a video game for a few minutes and just immediately got nauseous watching my character run across the screen. And I was like, oh, man.
Yikes.
Sometimes I shake it really quick, so I just went to bed early, hoping it was a day bug. And I woke up in the morning feeling even worse and sat there wrestling with myself, like, what do I do? You know, this is like nightmare scenario. Waking up for the trip I've been planning for 8 months, and I'm too sick to go.
Yeah.
You know, so I pushed my ticket back 2 days and hoped I was going to feel better by then, and that was painful.
Yeah. I called Paul in a panic, like, what's happening?
Yeah.
This is awful.
It was painful psychologically and pocketbook-wise, you know.
Yeah.
They did give me credit for the cost of the ticket I'd already booked, but then booking a new one on like 2 days' notice, it was like twice the price.
Wow.
So set me back a little bit.
Yeah. That was a bummer.
Yeah. And then I realized, the day after I got in Japan, we were going to fly to Sapporo. So I had to rebook that ticket as well. Or we were going to fly to Hakodate.
Yeah, Hakodate.
So then I realized I'm going to have to meet you in Sapporo, and I was trying to cancel. I had to get a new first hotel room because I was in Tokyo 2 days later than I was supposed to be, and I was sick. It just sucked.
So what do we take away from this? Is there like a lesson that you learned? Is there something you would have done differently to try to prevent this?
I mean, I think part of it is just taking a vacation in the middle of winter. You're gambling a little bit more, because I feel like it's pretty unlikely that I get something nasty in like September compared to February.
You also do work around a lot of random people, right?
I do, but I also don't get sick very often.
Yeah. I mean, I don't work around many people, but I still feel like I'm just going to wear a mask for like 2 weeks before the trip just to be safe, you know? Every time I hear somebody cough at work before a Japan trip, I give them the evil eye. Like, that person's trying to get me sick before my trip, and I will not allow it.
Or while we're in Japan. I mean, every time we're on a train and one person coughs, immediately I see Jason reaching for the mask.
There were so many sick people on this trip, you guys. They were everywhere.
It's the middle of winter, man.
They were targeting me, I think.
Around.
But, okay, so let me ask you this. Do you feel any differently about trip insurance now?
No.
You still wouldn't?
Well, think about it this way. I've been to Japan 5 times, and one time I had to rebook, but it's like, to get the refundable ticket, it's like an extra $250 or something. If anything, I'm broken even, if not still ahead.
Yeah. Makes sense. It might be different if you were like so sick that you had to cancel the entire trip altogether, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that would have. But a lot of the hotels, if you're more than like a day or 3 days ahead of time, you can get full refunds for.
That's true.
So some of it I might have been able to get back.
Yeah.
It was just all the short notice stuff. It was deciding that morning not to go. It was too late for my first hotel and my first flight. But the good news is I picked 2 days and it worked out. I got better each day. And by the second day, I was feeling so much better. My fever was gone. My cough was way lower. I was good to go.
Yeah. It worked out as well as it could have after that initial thing.
Yeah. If I still would have been sick after the 2 days, oh my God, it would have been bad.
Yeah.
It would have been real bad.
Yeah.
But anyways, let's get back to Japan.
Okay. So, by the way, I wanted to just kind of set some context here, because in the past, I've gotten some comments that like we didn't say exactly when we were in Japan. So maybe it'd be good to let you know that I landed in Japan on February 1st, 2026, which was conveniently day 1 of the trip. So when I say like day 2, that means February 2nd. And so that's...
Yeah, it is nice how that
happened.
works out this time.
Yeah. Okay, so day 2. I got up real early because, of course, the jet lag wouldn't allow me to sleep past like 3 a.m. And I had planned to go down to Kamakura. I'd been to Kamakura before, but I kind of skipped like one of the main attractions in Kamakura, which is Tsurugaoka Hachimangu, this big, amazing shrine. So I walked down the Dankazura, which is like this long park down the middle of the street, to get to that shrine. And it was beautiful. And it was so early in the morning that I was pretty much the only person there. It's got these nice stone lanterns lining the walk to the shrine. You got these multiple big red torii gates going up there. I saw the two ponds on either side of the entrance. There's the one symbolizing the Minamotos and the other symbolizing the Taira.
That does look like a pretty nice shrine. Ooh, all the sake casks.
Yeah, it was nice.
The gold leaf, too. It's kind of fancy.
Yeah, it's impressive. And I had hoped to see the Setsubun celebration here. But when I got there, I found out that the celebration wasn't until the next day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
I think they did have some sort of flower garden event thing going on, but I wasn't so interested in that. So like I said, I got there really early. And the other thing I wanted to do there was walk down Komachi Street, which is just one street over from the street leading up to the shrine. It's kind of a cool shopping street with lots of touristy shops and stuff. But I was there so early that I had some time to kill before the shops started opening. So I stopped at Komeda Coffee, which I believe is like a national chain. I think I saw a bunch of other ones of these in other cities that we stopped at. And I just had a coffee and some toast with like egg salad stuff to spread on the toast. It was tasty. And after that, I walked to Hokokuji, also known as the Bamboo Temple. This is also in Kamakura, and they have a very nice bamboo grove and a moss garden.
Yeah, that's a nice moss garden. Yeah, it looks like a cool place. That's beautiful.
Yeah. Had a rock garden, too. So I checked that out, took a bus back to Komachi Street, and this time the stores were open. I found this really cool antiques shop called Hatsune Antiques. And they had like a full set of samurai armor. They had all these authentic katana that you could buy and pieces of katana. I ended up buying a tsuba, which is the hand guard from a real Edo period katana. That was pretty exciting.
Wow.
Paul, you can see like some of them had really intricate designs on them and gold inlaid into them. I saw like no masks, all sorts of other like little inlays into katana handles and stuff. Just really, really cool place.
Is this the place you chipped the paint off the 150-year-old no mask?
It wasn't a no mask. It was a Hyotoko mask.
Okay.
And yeah, I felt really bad about that. But I swear I barely touched the thing
Yeah.
and like the paint started flaking off. Oh man, I was so embarrassed. But I bought something there, so that makes up for it, right?
Yeah.
So then I went to a restaurant down the street called Roast Beef Ono, where you get this little like roast beef volcano on rice with a egg yolk sitting on top. It was really good. I'd had this before in Akihabara, but what I thought was kind of funny is that antique shop was called Hatsune Antiques, and then the woman serving me at this place, her name was Miku, so I was like, oh man,
wow.
It's fate.
Okay. And then you proceeded to buy 92 pieces of Hatsune Miku merch.
It felt like it was meant to be. She was calling to me, you know?
It's a lively shopping spree. Wow.
Yeah, it really, once the shops opened up, it was pretty packed. So then I took a bus and a train and another bus to Denimio, which is the shop that sells Japanese denim in Yokohama. And I bought some jeans. Couldn't help myself. I had brought an extra bag on this trip specifically for souvenirs. And even really early on in the trip, I was like, oh man, I have so much room for souvenirs. I just went crazy. I bought so much stuff.
By the time we met up, your bag was like almost full.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if that was a great choice, but so I went back to the hotel, got some more famichiki for dinner, and went to bed. Day 3, got up and flew to Hakodate without Paul. And look, right as the plane was taking off, I could already see Mount Fuji in the background. And then it almost felt like the plane was like swinging around to give everybody a nice view of Mount Fuji.
That's a nice pic of snow-capped Fuji.
Yeah. Spoiler, I didn't end up getting my snow-capped Fuji picture in Hakone, but I did get them from the airplane, and I think they turned out pretty okay. I also wanted to mention, I just think it's awesome how smoothly domestic travel in Japan goes. Domestic flights, I mean. Like, they say to be at security 30 minutes before departure. In the US, they tell you 2 hours.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because they're confident in Japan it's going to go smoothly. You're going to catch your plane.
It's so much easier to get through security.
Yeah.
They're so nice too. Like I've seen them multiple times if a flight's getting close to taking off. They're like outside security, like anyone going to Sapporo, and then they like get them through super quick and get them on their plane.
Nice.
Like, wow, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I flew Japan Airlines. They served green tea on the flight.
Oh,
It was comfy.
nice.
No problem. So Hakodate, it was overcast and cold and windy. I think it was lightly snowing this first day I spent there. I took the bus from the airport to the train station. And when I got out of the train station, like I'm seeing people walking around in like dress shoes and stuff. So I'm like, maybe I went overboard bringing these ankle-high snow boots with good traction and stuff. But then I got out of the train station and walking like a couple 100 feet to the hotel, I slipped and almost fell on my butt. So I was like, never mind, I'm going to leave these boots on.
It snows so much in Hokkaido.
Yeah. And so the first thing I noticed, like we get a lot of snow here in Minnesota, right? But they plow really quickly when it snows and, they shovel the sidewalks and stuff. So there's not really much of a chance for a lot of ice to build up most places. And if it does build up, it like goes away within a week or something. But in Japan, not just Hakodate, but pretty much everywhere we were in northern Japan where it was snowing a lot, it snows so much that it's just not possible to clear it out of the way. And so many people are walking that it gets compacted into ice like immediately. So on all the sidewalks, you just end up with like several inches thick ice just everywhere.
Yeah, sometimes even more. Yeah, I think I was in Hokkaido for 9 or 10 days, and it had to snow at least 8 of them, if not 9.
Yeah.
It was like maybe one day we got where we didn't get any snow.
I listened back to the Sapporo episode, and we said there that Sapporo got 3 times as much snow as we do here in Minnesota.
Yeah.
I mean,
6 meters a year, I think, was around the number.
Yeah, it's insane. I mean, the snow drifts and stuff that we saw in Hokkaido are unlike anything I've ever seen here. The other thing I noticed is like most of the time when it snows, it's just like in the perfect temperature range where it's the really fluffy, voluminous snow. You know what I mean? Like it piles up so fast.
Yeah, our coats, we would just walk for 10 minutes and our coats and our pants and everything would be covered in this fluffy snow that we'd have to shake off before we walked into the next place.
Yeah, it was crazy. So I guess that's one thing I wanted to talk about. Like one piece of advice I would give is if you're going to northern Japan in the winter, you're going to want that winter coat. You're going to want good boots with good traction, and you'll probably still slip a few times even with that. Yeah. And I'd say you also want like thick gloves. But honestly, what I thought was kind of funny is in Japan, I didn't see many Japanese people wearing like the big, heavy gloves like we do here in Minnesota. Did you notice that, Paul?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if it's just that they're more comfortable being uncomfortable in the winter, or if, I mean, it doesn't get as cold there as it does here either.
Yeah, I think it just depends. Like, if you're out shoveling or playing in the snow, you're probably going to want the big gloves. But if you're just walking to the train station, I guess maybe not.
Yeah. Anyway, so Hakodate, I dropped off my bags at the hotel, conveniently located right next to the train station. And then I went to the morning market.
And this is all going to be new to me because not only has Jason not shown me any of these photographs, he wouldn't even tell me about anything he did.
Yep, had to save it for the podcast. So here's Hakodate, Paul. Inside the hotel, or inside the building that had the hotel, they had this really cool little yokocho. It was like an old kind of Showa era alley with restaurants and stuff. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, this was apparently the best hotel that I missed. It was, too.
Dude. It was awesome. The onsen there. I'll get to it when I get back to it at the end of the day. I'll talk more about it. But so the morning market was cool. Saw them selling all sorts of seafood. Saw these giant crabs crawling around in these tanks. Just lots of stands. And there's an indoor section of the market as well. And there are restaurants around. So this specific place I wanted to go to was called Uni Murakami because they specialize in uni.
All of that?
Yeah, that was breakfast. So there's a bowl of rice that's just completely covered in uni. There's uni gratin, which is like a creamy, cheesy soup with uni mixed into it, and then more uni sitting on top. And then I got sashimi and some miso soup and some pickles. It was delicious. By the way, I'm going to be talking about uni a lot in these trip recaps because I ate a lot of it, so I should probably say what that is. Uni is sea urchin, specifically the gonads of the sea urchin, and it's delicious. That's spelled UNI if you want to like Google it and look at pictures or something.
Yeah, nice slimy orange.
Delicious, slimy orange.
Does it have a strong flavor?
It's pretty mild.
Okay, because I feel like it's one of those things that people either like it or they don't like it at all. You think it's more of the texture or smell that's turning people off?
It might be a little bit of an acquired taste, but I think the texture turns a lot of people off, yeah.
Okay. But we know you love it.
Sure do. Then I went to like the indoor section of the morning market and got some dried scallops. I got some squid ink ice cream because I have to try a new kind of ice cream every time I see something I've never tried.
And how was that?
Honestly, kind of just tasted like vanilla. The squid ink didn't have much flavor, but it is black and that's kind of fun. I don't think I took a picture, but I bought some fruit at the morning market, like a slice of melon. And I will say I was surprised at how expensive a lot of this stuff there was. I mean, this, like I said, a single slice of melon was 500 yen, which seemed a little steep. And a lot of the dried seafood stuff too. And I mean, you know, they dry it so it shrinks a lot, so it doesn't look like as much as it originally was, if you know what I'm saying. But like they had a little bag of like dried salmon and cheese snack things, and it was like almost $100. I don't know. It just felt like kind of touristy prices. It felt like an expensive fish market.
Yeah.
But I guess it depends too, because I bought some uni later and they said that it was cheap, that it was a really good price. And I kind of didn't believe them because I'd seen the same thing in Tokyo, and admittedly like 10 years earlier, but it was like less than half of the price that I saw it in Hakodate. But then I saw it on this trip later on in another city and it was even more. It was like way more expensive. So I don't know. I do wish that I had bought more uni at this market because this is where I saw the most of it. If you love uni, go to Hakodate is what I would say. So after the morning market, I walked over to Kanemori Red Brick Warehouse. And for some reason, they always call it that, the Red Brick Warehouse, but it's actually multiple red brick warehouses. And they just have like shops inside. There's a lot of glass, like, I don't know, artisanal glasses.
Yeah, those look nice.
Kiriko glass, like hand-cut glass and stuff. The buildings themselves look really cool with vines crawling all over them. They look historic. I remember we talked about how Hakodate was voted as like second or third most attractive city in Japan. And I can definitely see why. It's a very beautiful place. You know, there are all these hills that you can walk up and then look back at the city down the hill and just get a lot of great views. And then when you're walking the other direction towards the hills, you get to see the big Mount Hakodate rising up behind the city. And with all these red brick warehouses and stuff, just a good looking place.
They're right on the bay there too. That's nice.
Yeah. Another thing I was excited to find is that Hakodate was doing some sort of like tourism collaboration with Hatsune Miku. So they had all this special Hakodate Hatsune Miku merch. And of course I had to buy all of it because special edition stuff, you know?
Sure. I mean, I feel like before we left, your display case here was full. Now it's like, I'm not sure you could fit another single figure in there.
I could fit some really small things in there still.
It is fact. You added a lot.
That's true. I bought a lot of stuff.
Ah, the Lucky Pierrot.
Yep. Lucky Pierrot is
burger chain.
Yeah. I didn't eat there at this point yet, but I did eat there later on and it was pretty good. And I just wanted a picture of the storefront because it looks cool. It's got this giant clown on the sign with a bunch of other little clowns. And I don't know. It's just like a very eye-catching place, don't you think?
Yeah. It's only in Hakodate.
Yep. So I started walking up the streets to get kind of towards the mountain side of the city. And I ended up at Hakodate Gokoku Shrine. And Paul, I know we hadn't even planned on going here. I got a little bit turned around and ended up here accidentally, but I'm glad that I did because it's a very pretty place, especially with all the snow around. I mean, we visited a bunch of shrines on this trip, and I just love the contrast of the big red torii gates with the pure white snow all around. It's just really good looking.
Yeah, they all looked amazing.
So this Gokoku Jinja, it's a shrine constructed to honor the spirits of fallen imperial soldiers from the Battle of Hakodate in 1869. And I mean, the view of the city from up there is pretty great.
And I don't know if you've explained the geography of Hakodate yet, this episode.
I mean, not in great detail. Why?
Just to explain that the city sits on a peninsula.
Oh, yeah.
On the end of the peninsula, there's a mountain or a really big hill that you can climb up, and then it overlooks the rest of the city that stretches out as the peninsula slowly gets smaller and then breaks into the larger part of the island.
Right. So the city is like mostly, on this narrow strip of land that goes out and ends in a mountain. But it's kind of funny, like while you're in the city, I mean, it doesn't feel like that. You know what I mean? Like you look back at it from the mountain, or you get up high somewhere and you're like, oh yeah, that's what it looks like. But when you're in the city and you're not seeing the water kind of on both sides of you, it just doesn't feel that way, you know?
Sure.
It just feels like you're kind of on the edge of a bay, basically.
I can believe that.
Yeah. Yeah, so I took a bunch of pictures of the red torii gate and the white snow and the city, and it was nice. From there, I headed northwest a bit to get to the Motomachi area, which has a bunch of old Western-style buildings.
A couple old churches.
Yeah. And this is also like the tops of those hills where you can get really nice views of the city.
Yeah, overlooking the bay here. That looks really nice.
I visited the old public hall of Hakodate Ward. It's this really pretty old building, and this isn't the original paint job. Right now it's like kind of a light blue with yellow trim. It is
almost
very
like golden yellow.
Yeah, it's a very
I like it. It's beautiful.
It's eye-catching.
But it's a little bit muted. I don't know if the colors used to be brighter, maybe.
I mean, they completely repainted it. So I went inside. It's like a museum now, and they talk about the kinds of things that used to happen there and what it used to look like. And they completely changed the color scheme a couple times, I think. But it was kind of like a town hall, you know. It was just where local administration stuff happened.
Sure.
So I don't know. It was interesting walking around inside, seeing the old bathrooms. Like a very 19th century fancy looking kind of place.
I mean, it almost looks like something you would see in like the older neighborhoods of St. Paul, built in like the early 1900s in that style.
Yeah. They had a little plaque. It says animation spot. Apparently some part of Love Live took place in this building.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I've never seen one of those before.
I haven't either.
88 Japanese anime spots. Where are the other 87? We'll have to find them someday.
I bet there's a website where you can find all of them. I found a memorial of Commodore Matthew Perry's visit to Hakodate. There's a statue of him. Next, I went to the City Museum of Northern Peoples, and I tried to take a bunch of pictures here, Paul, because I know that you were interested in this place. And it was very interesting. We visited a few museums in Hokkaido that had to do with the Ainu and some of the other northern peoples, like indigenous peoples of Japan. And it was interesting to see the different perspectives represented in each of these museums, because this one focused a lot on what they call Ainu art, but it's not Ainu in the sense that it was created by the Ainu. It's Ainu art that was created by the Japanese of the Ainu people. So it's like you're seeing the Japanese perspective of what these Ainu people were like when they were kind of, you know, this is like early interactions between the Japanese and the Ainu. And I mean, you can see in the art that they're kind of portrayed as like barbarians a little bit. You know, they got this big wild hair and big beards, and the way that they're portrayed just makes them look like the Japanese didn't really see them as like as respectable or something.
It's interesting to see pictures of the Ainu in like Edo style Japanese scroll painting.
Yeah.
That's really fascinating.
Yeah. They were also selling real Ainu clothing.
Wow.
Saw some of their necklaces. We saw some of this at other museums too. I was surprised at how massive their necklaces are. Like, they look so heavy and uncomfortable.
Yeah, those are big.
But yeah, a lot of artifacts, a lot of good history. But again, like from the perspective of the Japanese, like they're talking about the Japanese trading with the Ainu and what kinds of goods they got and stuff that the Ainu received from the Japanese that they would use in their rituals and stuff. I don't know. Interesting place. Worth visiting for sure. Next, I did go to Lucky Pierrot, and I got their famous, what do they call it? Sweet and sour Chinese chicken burger.
Yeah,
Something like
the
that.
number one seller.
It was good. It was very hot. And it was just like, they don't make like a burger patty. It's literally just like sweet and sour fried chicken, big chunks of it just stuffed in between a burger bun.
With cheese and lettuce.
There are options. I added on the cheese and a fried egg onto there.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're in Hakodate, you pretty much got to go to Lucky Pierrot. So at the end of this day, I took the ropeway to get up Mount Hakodate, and I got there before the sun went down because I wanted to see the night view after the sun went down, because that's one of the 3 most scenic night views in Japan.
The day view looks nice enough, that's for sure.
Yeah, I was happy to get a bunch of pictures up there. It was extremely busy. Like, it was pretty busy when I got up there, and there are multiple levels, different platforms that you can stand on to see the view. But the main one, the entire time I was up there, it was like 4 or 5 people thick from the railing. You know what I mean? Like, you'd really need to squeeze up there if you wanted to get right up to the railing.
Yeah.
And to be honest, Paul, I got a bit annoyed because I'm like standing back there, waiting my turn to look at the view, and the people at the very front, they're just leaning against the railing, looking at their phones. Nobody's even looking out at the city.
That's very
what
inconsiderate.
What are you people doing?
Yeah, that's not polite.
I see them just like sitting there texting people and stuff.
Yeah.
What the heck? Anyway. Yeah, I got some videos so you can see like how busy it was. Oh, they had a shop up there too. There's like a restaurant. There's a bunch of stuff up there. This is where I bought a bunch of Miku merch because they had this special, Hakodate collaboration stuff.
Wow, at the top of the mountain, huh?
Yeah, they had a thing called Sky Town. I got a special edition Miku Sky Town acrylic stand thing.
Nice.
So there's the night view.
Wow, that's nice.
Yeah, when the city lights up, looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it's cool how it's really bright along the main streets.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice.
Yeah, so you can see like a map of the city.
Yeah.
So then I went back to the hotel. I stayed at a hotel called La Gente Stay Hakodate Ekimai. Ekimai means in front of the station, and it was. It's like right next to the station. And I mean, number one, I got a great view from this place. I don't remember what floor I was on, but it had a really nice view of the city. And it also had an amazing onsen. Almost all of the hotels we stayed at on this trip had an onsen, but this was the best one. Paul, I'm sorry to say that you missed it, but this was the Tanuki-themed one.
I remember seeing a picture of that and thinking how cool it was going to be.
Yeah, like at the entrance, there's this giant Tanuki head, and then you get in there, and there's not like Tanuki stuff inside there, but it's like a Tanuki Edo period aesthetic. Everything is old wood. There are fake windows in there with paintings of mountains behind them and stuff.
Nice.
And it just felt like very natural. It felt like you were in this really old building. Like a lot of the other onsen we went to just felt kind of sterile and like too modern. And
yeah, it's just like a big tiled
generic.
up room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one, it was so cool. And they had a sauna in there as well as a cold water pool,
man.
So you could like go in there to cool down if you got too warm.
The cold pool was nice.
It was really good. It was really good. I also in the onsen episode we talked about how a traditional drink to have after you get out of the onsen is like flavored milk, like coffee milk or fruit milk or whatever. And at the convenience store, oh, by the way, the other cool thing about this hotel is that there was a convenience store attached like inside the building. I think it was a 7-Eleven. But I found this chocolate strawberry milk that was incredible. It's so good.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So then I went to bed after the onsen.
And you tossed and turned, thinking how sad you were that you couldn't enjoy this with me, right?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I definitely wasn't all cozy under the sheets after the warm onsen with the heat still radiating through my bones. That's definitely not what happened. So the next day, day 4, February 4th, this day in Hakodate, it was actually sunny and quite warm. And Paul, you can see the view from the hotel with the sunrise. I still I woke up early because I'm still kind of getting over the jet lag. So I started the day by going back to the onsen, which was great.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Oh, man, this whole trip, we really tried to indulge as much as possible. Yeah. And then I went back to the morning market to have some uni.
Of course you did.
Oh, so actually, I stopped by Tabiji, which is the restaurant where they sell the squid that you pour soy sauce on and it flops its tentacles around because the sodium in the soy sauce activates its tentacles even though the squid is dead. I was really excited to see this reanimated squid, but as soon as I got up there, I walk in the door, the guy's like, "No squid." I'm like, "No squid? No squid." I didn't get the dancing squid. So I guess I have to go back to Hakodate on the next trip to get that squid and a bunch more uni.
And if we go during the festival, we can do the dancing squid dance with them.
That sounds perfect. But yeah, I noticed actually a lot of the restaurants seem to be saying that they were out of squid. So I don't know exactly what was happening. Maybe it
could
was...
be a seasonal thing.
Yeah. So that was disappointing. So I drowned my sorrows in uni. I had some uni in the shell. That was very good. And then immediately after that, I bought this big tray of uni.
I don't think people can comprehend how much uni you're eating. That is a crazy amount of uni.
That was like $30 of uni, $35 maybe. 5,000 yen, basically. And like I said, I had seen a tray this size in Tokyo for 2,000 yen. So 5,000 seemed like a lot, but it was very high quality and very tasty. I was talking to the guy that was selling this because they had like 2 different types of uni right next to each other. One was like really bright yellow, like golden kind of. But this one is much more like leaning towards brownish, right?
Yeah.
So I asked him, like, which one of these do you recommend? What's the difference? And he's like, oh, they're different kinds of uni. I didn't know enough about uni to know that the 2 main types are murasaki and bafun. And this is the bafun uni, which is, it has a stronger taste. Like it's more intense, the salty sea air kind of flavor. And the murasaki, which means purple uni, is a different, I don't know if they're different species. It might be different species.
This looks less slimy and more fuzzy.
Yeah.
They almost look like fuzzy tongues.
Yeah, the texture was a little more firm than I was used to, but like it also melts in your mouth. Like
Did you like the extra intense flavor?
Yeah.
Because you like uni so much.
Right, yeah, I wanted the intense flavor. That's why I picked that one. It was very good. I should have taken more pictures before I started digging into it, but I couldn't help myself. Just started grabbing it out of there and shoving it in my face. So I dropped that off in the hotel fridge, and then I headed over to Goryokaku. This is that giant star-shaped fort kind of at the northern end of the city, at least north of all the other touristy stuff. And I went up Goryokaku Tower, where you can get a great bird's eye view of the thing.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
What an impressive sight. All covered in snow, too.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I wasn't quite sure what to expect here as far as like how much there is to do. And there wasn't a ton, to be honest. Like the main thing is just looking at the thing.
Then you go inside and you kind of walk around and there's a couple old buildings or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's a park. You just kind of walk around the park, and the tower has a cafe and a shop and a little like mini museum sort of thing. They had some like history stuff up there. But the views from the tower are great, not just of the fort, but of the rest of the city. Like you're so high up, you can see out across the city all the way to Mount Hakodate. You see it rising up out of the water.
Complete other end of the city than the mountain is.
Right.
So that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, these little like dioramas showing scenes from the history of Hakodate and the history of Goryokaku. And I was really interested to learn that the ice from the moat around this fort was famous back in the day. Like they would harvest the ice from here and then ship it down to Tokyo and sell it as Goryokaku ice as a big thing.
That's cool.
I got some pictures of me because I met a guy there.
Those are probably the only pictures you have of yourself from the whole rest of the trip.
Yeah, not many.
It's a good picture, though.
Oh, I tried another kind of ice cream that I had not seen before. This is ramune flavor, like the soda.
With the colors, I was going to say Miku ice cream.
It does kind of look like that, but it's a swirl of the ramune and vanilla. And it was tasty. Oh, sorry, it isn't vanilla. It's ramune and special milk, they call it. Yeah. Oh, they also had, in the tower, this really unexpected but really cool gallery of kappa art. I forget the artist's name, but he painted a lot of kappa, and that was really cool to see in kind of a traditional style.
Yeah.
Like calligraphy, sumi ink painting stuff.
Those are pretty cool.
So there are some buildings in the middle of the fort. One of them was a museum, but I didn't feel like taking my boots off to go inside. I read a sign outside that talked about what it was about and didn't feel inspired to go inside, I guess. So I started walking back to the hotel, but on the way I stopped to try a Hokkaido local specialty known as soup curry at a restaurant called Okushiba Soup Curry. And it was very tasty. They had a bunch of different kinds. You could kind of customize it, add different toppings. And if you like curry at all, I would recommend checking it out if you're in Hokkaido. I mean, we saw it at every city that we were in Hokkaido. And they even put a little pat of fresh Hokkaido butter on there to melt into it. Very good stuff. So back to the hotel, I then went to 7-Eleven and bought some Hakodate milk. This is another thing I was really excited to try because Hokkaido is known for their dairy products, among other things. And I had been seeing a lot of Instagram reels lately with people raving about how amazing Hokkaido milk is. So I had to try that. So at the convenience store, just at 7-Eleven, they had this milk. It says Hakodate milk, and it's raw, unhomogenized milk, which you can't get in the United States. Like, it's illegal to sell raw milk in a store.
In most parts of the U.S.
Where can they do that?
I remember reading this story about, I think it was Oregon or somewhere over there, passed a bill like allowing the sale of raw milk, and like some state legislature people drank raw milk to celebrate and all got sick.
Wow. Well, I didn't have any problems with it, fortunately. I mean, I would guess that Japan has stricter food safety laws around that. Well, I mean, I guess you can't get much stricter than just banning the sale of raw milk entirely, but you know what I mean, right?
Yeah, they're careful.
So it was tasty. I'm used to drinking skim milk, personally. So this was a little different because I think it was like around 2.5% milk fat. I looked at the label. But also, like, it does have a different flavor. And what I detected in there was a bit of like a corny flavor. Like, it smelled a little bit like corn, and there was like a little bit of, you could taste the corn in the milk. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. So I looked it up, and I think it might be because that's part of what they feed the cows, right?
I'm sure
it would make sense that it would
sure
come
they do.
through in the milk, right? So yeah, that was unusual. It took a little bit of getting used to because that just seemed a little odd to me, but it was good. You know, I think if you're in Hokkaido and you're a milk drinker, you should definitely try some local milk. I also bought some Sapporo Classic, which is a beer from Sapporo, the beer company. But what's special about Sapporo Classic is that it's made with local ingredients from Hokkaido, and you can only get it in Hokkaido. So that was pretty interesting. And
Very exclusive.
if you drink beer and you're in Hokkaido, you have to try Sapporo Classic. I also got a stout from Onuma Brewery. Onuma is a park. Is it a quasi-national park or something?
Yeah, something like that.
North of Hakodate, where Paul and I were planning to hike.
Yeah, did you end up skipping that?
I did end up skipping that, but this was a tribute to it, getting the beer from there.
I was looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Someday we'll make it there.
I did. I mean, I looked at it. I took a train through there and looked out the window, and it looked pretty, but I was kind of glad to be inside of the train and not out there hiking through the snow with the bears, you know. Oh, I forgot to mention, so at the Kanemori red brick warehouses, I found a shop selling tons of Hokkaido mascot merch, which was awesome. I got some Marimokori stuff. I got some Melon Kuma stuff. He's the bear who's half melon. And one of the things I bought has a little tag that explains the backstory behind the mascot, Melon Kuma. He is a bear that was transformed after ravaging a farm in Yubari and devouring delicious melons. Yubari is famous for their melons, their Yubari melons. So
You eat enough of something and you become it, I guess.
apparently, it's like that old Gushers commercial, you know?
You are starting to look a little bit uni tinted over there.
That's how you get a natural tan without the risk of skin cancer. So yeah, that night I went back to the hotel. I had my beers with a bunch of uni. And then I went to the onsen. Or maybe I did the onsen before the beer and uni. Either way, it was great.
So this was the day I actually arrived in Tokyo.
Ah, yes.
In the afternoon. Did the usual, exchanged my money, got my JR pass exchanged in, and set the dates for it. And I actually stayed this time at the hotel in Haneda Airport. I think it was called First Cabin Haneda. And it is you could call it a capsule hotel. Like, it was literally just my bed. There was no other space. I had trouble even like fitting my luggage in there. I kind of had to, it was like next to my feet on the bed.
Was it an actual tube that you had to crawl into?
It wasn't. I didn't have to crawl up onto the bed. It was almost like a small cubicle, and it just had a curtain in front that you closed. So it was loud. The bed sucked. It was actually kind of a bad experience.
Sorry.
But I can say I've done that now. I was just looking for something cheap and easy on the fly because I had to rebook that like a day before I got there.
Yeah.
So it did the trick that way. And that was my day.
It's too bad you missed that onsen, man. That was pretty nice.
Yep.
And that whole hotel. Should have been there. So day 5, I was going to head to Sapporo to meet up with Paul. So I got up early, I went to the train station, and it wasn't open yet, which I wasn't expecting. I feel like they kind of opened the train station for me because they saw me like pacing around out in front of the door, and somebody came and unlocked the door.
How early did you get there?
It was like right before 7. I think they were supposed to open at 7.
Okay, that's not too crazy.
But so I got on the train. Like I said, I passed through Onuma, and dude, let me show you. So I got on the train when it was dark still, and I got to watch the sunrise over Onuma Park. And there's also this giant mountain up there that we kind of swung around on the train. It was so beautiful.
Yeah, it looks gorgeous. That would have been a nice hike.
Yeah. I didn't want to be there out in the snow all by myself without somebody to be a diversion for the bears if they started going after me, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
That was your job.
Thankfully, we never saw any bears, though.
Yep.
There's
Got
been a
lucky.
rash of bear attacks in the last year in Japan for some reason.
Yep. So I took the train to Noboribetsu.
We will soon make a brief stop at Higashimurodan. The stop after Higashimurodan is Noboribetsu.
Which is a little onsen town.
About halfway between Hakodate and Sapporo.
About that, yeah. And it kind of, it's a little onsen town like any other onsen town, except this one also is famous for its Jigokudani, Hell Valley, which is just this volcanic landscape with all these sulfur vents and stuff. We'll get to it, but I had to walk through the town a little bit to get there. And, there are a lot of tourist shops and restaurants.
I almost didn't notice that giant Oni club on the side of the road.
Oh, yeah. You see a lot of random Oni stuff around, which I thought was really fun. Oni, we did an episode about them, and we talked about them last season in that Hell episode.
Yeah.
They're demons, basically, and they're cool. So the shops weren't open yet, mostly, when I got there, but I walked up the street, and I noticed this giant, animatronic dude, and they do shows every hour where he, turns into an Oni. So I made a mental note of that. I also walked past this area where, I just heard this loud rumbling sound. I'm like, what is that? And I go over, And there are these stairs that like go down underground, and you can see all this steam bubbling up from the hot spring, and the water down there looks like it's boiling. Like, it's crazy.
Wow, that is something. That's not what I would have expected to see at the bottom of those stairs.
I'm going to try to play some audio of this because it sounds hellish. Like, you can imagine the rumbling sounds from hell coming up to the surface.
Yeah, it does look like it's boiling.
This is pretty cool. By the way, like I did for our last trip recaps, I did make some audio recordings that I'm going to try to stick in here in the background at certain points. Not a ton of them. Honestly, I didn't come across a lot of soundscapes that were particularly noteworthy, but you might notice some of that. Just calling that out. Another thing about Noboribetsu is, as soon as I got off the train, I could smell the eggs. The sulfur. The place smells like sulfur. And I did get used to it pretty quick. Like, I didn't notice it for very long. But this is like even at the train station before you take the bus up to the Jigokudani area. Like, the whole town just kind of smells faintly of eggs.
That's how you know you're getting close to hell.
As I said, more Oni stuff, walking over to Jigokudani. And Jigokudani itself was pretty awesome. It's just one of those places that feels kind of otherworldly.
There's just steam rising everywhere.
Yeah, you can see how they would have called it hell.
There's a bunch of places where there's no snow because it's melted off. That's really cool.
It was pretty cool. So there's this big like wooden walkway. So you can walk through the thing and take a look close up at the sulfur vents and all that. There are a bunch of walking paths around Jigokudani, but all of them were closed except for the main one, which is a little bit of a bummer because there's also like a pond that looked really cool. And I don't know, it would have been nice to see more of the area, but
yeah,
in the middle of winter, apparently most of them are closed.
Okay, fair enough.
But got some cool pictures, headed back down through the town. And this time, when I got back to town, the shops had started opening up. And I once again passed that animatronic thingy that I had talked about, and it was in the middle of a show.
Whoa, he went full Oni there.
Yeah. His whole face disappeared and was replaced with a big Oni head.
That's pretty cool. That's a huge animatronic thing, too. That's like twice the size of a normal human.
At least. Yeah, I was not expecting that. That was kind of fun. And then I tried another kind of ice cream that I had not had before. They call it bee pollen ice cream. Basically, they just have a little cup of vanilla ice cream, but then they drizzle honey on it, as well as all these little crunchy bits that are apparently bee pollen. And there's real bee pollen in there because when I ordered it, they asked me, they even brought out a little sign in English just to be sure. They're like, "You don't have any allergies, right?" I'm like, "I'll be okay." And it was delicious. Honestly, out of all the ice cream I ate on this trip, this was the best. The little crunchy pollen bits were amazing. And the honey itself was just really rich. And like, I don't know if it was more raw than what we get here in the US, but it was extremely flavorful. And I love this stuff. And I did end up getting some in Hakone, actually. I saw this same shop.
Good, because I know you were regretting not getting a second one in Asahikawa or wherever we saw it.
Right. Yeah, apparently this honey shop is a national chain because we did see this multiple places. Yeah, if you get a chance, try that bee pollen ice cream. They also had another one with like honeycomb in it. That was good. I was still hungry after that, so I went and got a little sandwich with some fresh Hokkaido milk. Saw some more Oni stuff on the way back to the train station. I also came across something interesting in one of the souvenir shops. Apparently there's this anime tourism promotion that they call Onsen Musume. Musume means daughter, so these are like the daughters of the onsen, I guess. And basically each onsen town around Japan has like a little anime mascot, like a girl in a kimono, and they sell
That's cool.
their merch. And yeah, I
that's
thought that
cool.
was kind of fun. So then I got back on the train to Sapporo to meet up with Paul.
Yeah, I flew out to Sapporo that morning. Very pleasant flight. Actually reminds me, I forgot to mention, I wanted to shout out the lovely passenger sitting behind me on my plane ride to Japan, because when I switched my ticket, my vegan meal didn't switch with the ticket. So I had like nothing to eat for 12 hours. And the woman behind me heard me talking to the flight attendant and gave me like half of her meal. She had gotten like a special gluten-free meal and a bunch of the stuff was vegan. And that warmed my heart. So thank you very, very much to that kind person.
Very generous.
I got to Sapporo a little bit before you, so I went and grabbed lunch. And I want to call out this place because I think this might have been the favorite restaurant I went to the whole time. It was called Holistic Bio Cafe Veggie Way.
Wow.
I think I ended up going there 3 times while we were in Sapporo. I got the teriyaki bowl, and it was amazing. It was just everything I ever could have wanted.
For anyone that's new to the podcast, Paul is vegan, so he couldn't eat at any normal restaurants the entire time. They all had to have weird names like that.
There's 1 or 2 normal restaurants that have something.
What was that name again?
Holistic Bio Cafe Veggie Way.
That's
I'm not going to argue with you about that one. But it was
They're
good.
not even trying to blend in, you know?
But it was good. I also had a little bit of time, so I went and took a minute to check out Nakajima Koen Park, which has the historic Hoheikan Hotel in it. That was pretty cool. It was a really nice old-style building. I didn't go inside. It looked like they just had a bunch of old furniture inside kind of thing. So I walked around and got lost in the park for a minute and eventually found a different train station than the one I came at and met you downtown.
Cool. Yeah, we met up not far from, the hotel. Dropped off my stuff at the hotel. And then we headed over to Odori Park for the Sapporo Snow Festival, which was, of course, one of our main things that we wanted to do in Sapporo. We saw the famous TV tower at one end of Odori Park. Near that, they had this section with tons of festival food.
Lots of stuff.
So we started walking along the park, and there are a bunch of shops. There are a bunch of events going on, like performances and stuff, along with all these amazing snow sculptures.
And it's a huge park, too. I think it was 10 or 12 blocks long, and every block kind of is its own little area.
Yeah.
That had just so many snow sculptures.
So many.
There were a bunch of like 2-meter tall snow sculptures, but there were some massive ones too that kind of took up almost the whole block. It was incredible. There was a lot to see.
Yep, lots of characters I didn't recognize, but also a lot that I did. I got a picture here of King Boo from Mario. We saw a bunch of mascots. They had like Melon Kuma. I didn't see a Marimokori one, I don't think, but
I got to see the ramen monster walking around.
Oh, yeah, the cup noodle.
Yeah, the cup noodle
guy.
mascot was there in person, and that costume is incredible.
That was really cool.
Noodles hanging everywhere.
Yeah, they had this giant cup noodles snow sculpture that was actually a slide. The kids could go up there and slide down.
And they had a little cup noodle restaurant right there.
Yep. And the mascot guy, he's basically just this big cup noodle monster, like it just looks like a guy covered in noodles.
Yeah.
And then he's got the upside down cup noodle cup on his head.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun. They had some interesting snow sculptures of random body parts. I really liked the teeth.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Not a mouth, just teeth all the way up,
Teeth
to
and
the
gums.
top of the gums. Yeah.
Yeah.
They had a big Jomon period theme one.
Yeah, old pottery style.
They had like maybe 4 really, really massive snow sculptures, right? There was the Jomon period one. There was like a horse racing one. With
This
some
was a
people doing
stage, though.
there was a musical act.
Yeah, they were singing and dancing. I mean, that's like a 30-foot long stage there.
And I got a hilarious picture of Paul in a crowd of Japanese people, and he is by far the tallest person there.
I got a
stands
good
out.
picture over everyone's heads there.
Yeah. They had some art displays. There's a Gundam snow sculpture. There was a giant, I forget what this was. Was this
I think that was the old courthouse.
something like that? But my favorite of the giant snow sculptures was the Japanese castle.
Oh, it was unbelievable.
Yeah, really
such
detailed.
a good one. And huge, too. Probably 40 feet tall.
Yeah. It almost looked like full size. Almost.
Almost, yeah.
Had some Kirby, some Chainsaw Man. They had one of the White House for some reason.
Because it's 250th American
right.
anniversary coming up this year.
That's what it was. They had a bunch of stuff referencing that, which is funny because I've never seen anything about that in the U.S.
Oh, it's going to be a party. We're
Think so?
going to be celebrating on July 4th.
Right. They had a giant Star Wars snow sculpture, too.
They had a lot of Star Wars stuff.
I finally found a snow Miku. I was really hoping to see a
snow Miku,
snow Miku made of snow.
In snow,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I should mention Snow Miku, actually. This is a thing, I think it started in like 2010. Basically, she's an official tourism ambassador now for Hokkaido winter activities and stuff. So every year, Snow Miku has kind of a different look. They change up her outfit a bit. And at the festival, and even all over the rest of Hokkaido, they sell all this Snow Miku merch. And like I said, in Hakodate, they did a collab with Snow Miku. It's just kind of inescapable. So, of course, I had to buy a bunch of limited edition 2026 Snow Miku stuff.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's different every year. You can only get it that one year.
It was the only chance.
Oh, they had a Kewpie mayonnaise snow sculpture and a Kewpie pop-up shop where I bought a bunch of random Kewpie-themed stuff. I bought the little Kewpie doll. I bought a Kewpie tablespoon.
That was one of the most randomly unexpected things we came across.
Yeah, but I was
I
so
didn't know
happy
there
I
was
did.
Kewpie merch like that.
Yeah.
And there was a line to get in that store, too.
Yeah. You had to wait, and they would guide you along this little path that's just Kewpie stuff that you can buy. Limited edition stuff. And it's limited edition, Paul. You can't pass it up.
Yeah, sure.
Also, Paul, do you want to talk about just the height of the snow in Sapporo?
Yeah, I mean, we're walking down these shoveled out sidewalks, and it's up to my waist or higher on either side of me with piled snow.
I mean, in this picture, like some of that snow is surely from the street on the other side of that, but it almost goes up to your head.
On the street side, it did. There were times we saw cars driving by where the snow pile right behind them was higher than the car was.
Yeah, that was crazy. I mean, I heard that Sapporo had been getting a lot of snow, but still seeing the snowbanks that high was kind of crazy. So that was pretty much it for day 5. We went to the festival, went back to the hotel, probably went to the onsen, right? I didn't make a note of that.
Oh, we did.
Almost every night of the trip, we went to the onsen. So day 6, we got up and went to Susukino for another part of the Sapporo Snow Festival. There are 3 main locations for the festival: Odori Park, Susukino, and Tsudome, which we went to later. But tell us about the Susukino area, Paul.
This is where they had all the ice sculptures. There were a couple blocks of the street where the median down the middle of the street had ice sculptures on either side facing each sidewalk. A lot of pretty cool stuff. Some Nikko whiskey stuff, a bunch of animals and mythical beasts, you could say.
There's kind of a lot of random stuff. The Centauri whiskey was fun. A giant ice bottle of whiskey and a ice stein of whiskey. And I remember there was like a car made of ice.
Yeah, it's a fun area of town, too. That's right in the major entertainment district. There's a ton of restaurants and bars and shops around the area.
Yeah, we were there pretty early, so there wasn't much open, but we did find a mega donkey.
Yeah.
Don Quixote is a kind of a variety store that you find all over Japan, and the mega ones are mega big. And this is where we found a bunch of Miku stuff.
Yeah,
Snow Miku stuff.
They had a big section of Snow Miku stuff.
So, of course, I had to buy some of that. You got some too, right?
I did. I got a nice little stand.
From there, we walked down Tanukikoji, which is a famous shopping street in Sapporo, but it was too early and there wasn't really anything open.
But we did book a spot for the podcast meeting.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so a few episodes ago, we had talked about how we were considering this one bar called Barefoot Bar, but we ended up kind of scrapping that idea because we expected it to be really busy and we weren't sure they'd be able to accommodate a group the size of our group. But we just happened to be walking by there. I wasn't even paying attention to where this place was. I just looked up and was like, oh, there it is. That's the Barefoot Bar. Let's go check it out. And we were just like looking around outside the front.
We were trying to see how many tables were inside. Like, could we all fit in there?
Yeah, and then the owner just happened to see us, and he came out to tell us they weren't open yet. But we ended up talking for a bit, and, we told him about this podcast meetup that we had been planning and that we were thinking about this bar, and he actually brought us inside before they even opened and, like, brought us upstairs, and he was like, we got this big party table here. How does this look? We were like, that's awesome, and he offered to make a reservation for us. It was great. His name is Gareth, super nice guy. If you're looking for a bar where you can hang out and maybe meet other English-speaking people, it seemed like a lot of their clientele is English-speaking, so it might be a good place to hang out.
Yeah, I thought it was really great that he let us make a reservation because he even said, like, this is our busiest week of the year, and we were coming in on a Saturday night on their busiest week of the year. But he's like, that might be the busiest day of the year for the entire bar. And
right. I kind of couldn't believe how serendipitous it was. It just happened to work out that we just happened to be walking by and he happened to see us. And
the party table that we reserved was the perfect size.
It was
for the
literally
amount of people that ended up showing up.
Exactly the right number of seats.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
So after that, we headed over to the Tsudome area, which took me a long time to realize it wasn't Tsudome.
Oh man, sometimes with Japanese words, when you see it written, it's not clear if it's like, am I supposed to pronounce this in Japanese, or are they like taking an English word and they pronounce it, as if it's an English word? So yeah, they don't call it Tsudome, they call it Tsudome because it's like a dome.
Yeah, it's like an athletic stadium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't look exactly like a dome. I commented on that it's like, it's not exactly a dome.
It's dome-ish.
It looks more like a cone if you chopped off most of the top of the cone. And I guess, I don't know, it's a little bit dome-ish, whatever.
This was more of like a family geared area,
yeah.
I'd say. They had a few snow sculptures. They had like some rides where they had a blow-up raft being dragged around by a snowmobile, kind of slowly over some small bumps.
They had a snow maze. They had,
the snow maze went up to our waist, though, so we could see exactly where we needed to go.
It wasn't very challenging. They had some tubing, inflatable tubes going down these ramps. They had some snowball targets you could throw snowballs at. I gave that a try.
That was the highlight of my day.
So far in Hokkaido, I'd slipped a few times, but I hadn't hit the ground. But I picked up a snowball to throw at one of these targets. I planted my foot on the slipperiest spot in this whole place. Like the rest of it was all snow. I stepped on ice. And before I knew it, I was on the ground. Well, Paul, you describe it from your perspective because I don't really know what happened.
Jason winds up to throw, and the second his arm starts moving forward with the weight shift, boom, his feet come flying out from under him. He lands down on the ground, and the guardrail that was kind of sectioning off the targets ends up completely on top of him. And he's just laying there, buried by the guardrail. I was laughing so hard. But I did lift the rail off of him.
Fortunately, the only thing that got bruised was my ego.
No staff came over to help. They just kind of were looking and chuckling.
I was laughing too. It was pretty funny, to be honest.
To be fair, I did see the ice that you had stepped on. And some people maybe don't know this if you don't live far enough north, but there's different kinds of ice. And that was the super slick kind of ice. You had no chance once your weight was on that ice.
It was incredibly slippery. And the other thing about walking on ice is that you're fine as long as you keep your center of gravity directly above your feet.
Yeah.
But if it's even slightly to the side, that's when you slip. And of course, when you're throwing a snowball, it's all about the weight shift, right? So, yeah, I went down hard.
And that whole place was disappointing for the snow because I thought the snowball target thing could have been one of the most fun things, but they brought over the driest snow ever that you couldn't make snowballs out of.
It wasn't good snowball
It just
snow.
made no sense.
It was more like snow chunks.
Yeah, you had to like fish a chunk out and just throw it.
Yeah.
But then we got to the good part.
The indoor part?
Yeah, inside the dome.
Yeah, the dome was cool. There was like a handmade crafts show / sale. Right?
Yeah. And they had a bunch of really cool stuff.
Yeah. I got this really adorable little like knit kappa thing.
Yeah. I got a really fluffy, that name of that bird, Shimaenaga.
Shimaenaga, yeah.
Yeah. They had some cool stuff though. There was one person that they made this little bento, and then they made out of like knitting little pieces of sushi and egg and this, so you could buy whatever pieces you wanted to like fill up the bento.
That's adorable.
Yeah, they had some really, really creative, cool stuff there.
Yeah, it was really cool. They also had a food court area. I got some yakisoba with baby octopus in it. It was pretty good. I got something else too. Oh, a crepe.
Yeah.
That was really good. It was like a creme brulee crepe. Amazing.
I actually got a pizza. They had a
vegan stand.
Margarita pizza with no cheese on it.
Well, they also had a display with all the old Sapporo Snow Festival posters from almost every year, going back to the very beginning.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah.
You kind of see the trends. There'd be a few years in a row where they kind of were all similar. And then there were some wacky ones every once in a while that got thrown in there. There's some really cool ones.
Yeah.
I liked that.
Yeah, it was fun.
I think that was about it for the Tsudome area.
Yep. We started heading back south a bit. Tsudome is kind of like northeast of the main part of the city, right?
Yeah.
It's a little bit a ways away. Like Odori Park and Susukino are kind of the main touristy areas anyway, but Tsudome you have to take like a train and a bus to get out to.
But the train's like 2 or 3 stops. Like it wasn't that far.
No, it wasn't bad.
And then they have a shuttle bus during the festival that brings you straight out to the site.
Yep.
Although that's where we made a mistake too. There were a couple people standing by the bus stop and we just went and lined up behind them. And then the buses kept driving by us. And finally we went and read the timetable and we had got there right when it opened. And like, the return buses don't start until noon.
Yeah.
So we just walked back. It was like a 10-minute walk back to the station.
Yeah, that's a good lesson. Read the signs. I feel like you can avoid so many bad situations by just reading all the signs.
Yep.
So next we headed over to the Sapporo Beer Museum. But on the way, I just happened to notice a book off / hobby off. If you spend much time in Japan, you might start to notice these places. There's a bunch of them. Book off, hobby off, hard off. Paul's laughing at that one. It's a good thing they didn't call it hard on, right?
What is a hard off?
That's the one that just sells all sorts of random stuff.
Hardware?
I feel like I read something about how they chose that name, and I don't remember what it was. But yeah, it's a weird name.
Yeah.
But these are all like thrift stores, basically. They're selling like secondhand stuff. So Book Off focuses on obviously books, but also CDs and DVDs, media. Hobby Off has more like
anime figures
yeah.
And there was some train stuff, I think.
Yeah. So we looked at a whole bunch of anime figures and tried not to buy all of them, right?
Yep.
I think, did I get out of there without buying anything? I think I did.
I think you did. You were strongly considering a few things, but I think we did get out of there without buying
I was
anything.
proud of myself.
Can't say that for the next stop, though.
Yeah. So that was pretty close to the beer museum. So we just had to walk down the block from that place to get to the Sapporo Beer Museum. Sapporo, of course, the famous beer
From
Sapporo.
Yeah.
And what'd you think, Paul?
The museum is not great.
Underwhelming.
It's okay. I felt like I was reading a lot of what I already knew about Sapporo, but that's partly because we did a beer episode, so I knew a little bit about the history and stuff.
But it was just kind of a series of little stands
with
pieces
like
of the
a couple
history
paragraphs. There weren't a lot of artifacts. I wanted more like things you would see in a museum. It was just kind of like reading a Wikipedia page from 12 different displays.
Yeah, pretty much. They had some old beer bottles to show like the old label designs and things like that.
Which was really cool, but they didn't have enough of that, in my opinion.
I'm with you.
They had some old posters for advertisements that I thought were kind of cool, though.
Yep, agreed.
But then we got to the cool part. You go downstairs and you do the tasting. You get the flight of the 3 beers. What was it, the regular Sapporo, the Sapporo Classic that you can only get in Hokkaido? And then what was the third one?
So we got the Sapporo Classic, which is the one that they only sell in Hokkaido. We got the Kai Takashi beer, which is unfiltered. And they say that's their original recipe, unfiltered craft beer. And then there's the Kuro label, the black label, which is their flagship product. That's kind of the standard one.
Yeah. So you get 240 milliliters of each of those 3. Although there's a bit of foam in the glasses. It's a bit of beer, but it's not that much beer.
Yeah, it was still pretty early, though, I think. I didn't end up finishing it even, did I? I think this is where I left a little bit.
Oh, yeah, I think you might have. We'd only had like a light lunch at the Tsudome, like a light early lunch. So we were both had a bit of room in our stomachs. Oh, you got a picture of me staring at him with the dumbest grin on my face. Like I'm so excited to drink those beers.
You do look excited. You're eyeing those beers hard.
I was.
We should mention, too, that the building is really good looking. It's an old red brick building that used to house the
like it
Sapporo
used to be a
factory.
factory years ago, The gift shops here were incredible, though.
Yeah, I mean...
There was one, like, in the main building, but then we found another one in the next building that had even more stuff. I got, like, a shirt and a towel and a magnet. I got, like, 5 things, I think, here.
Yeah. I mean, they were selling, like, cases of the Sapporo Classic, the special Hokkaido version, and it reminds me of an Instagram reel I saw about a guy who, like, the airline flagged his luggage for being, like, strangely overweight, like overweight by a lot, and they open it up and it's just cases of Sapporo Classic in there, the whole suitcase.
That's crazy.
So after that, I went and had some tonkatsu. It was right by the hotel. That was good. And then I ended up discovering this giant gachapon area in the same building as I was going down the elevator from the restaurant. So I wasted a bunch of time there before I met back up with Paul at the hotel.
You must have looked at probably 2,000 gachapon machines on this trip. We passed so many places at the gachapon.
Probably.
This is also when we were kind of walking around the beer factory, I got a blister on my toe.
Oh, yeah.
I bought new boots for this because my old ones are kind of falling apart and I hadn't fully broken them in yet. And I was wearing thick socks. But Jason saved my life and gave me the best Band-Aid I've ever had. And I was able to Band-Aid up, and I had no more problems with that blister the rest of the trip. So thank you, buddy.
Anytime. I got your back. But yeah, those the Band-Aid that I gave Paul is Band-Aid's brand, but they make these ones that, like, it's almost like a second skin. They're weird. Like, they're not the fabric ones. They don't have the little, like, gauze pad in the middle. They just, like, attach to your skin, and they don't come loose. Even on your toe, right? And you're walking on it, it doesn't move at all.
Yeah, I was just wrapped around one of my toes, and it lasted for days.
Yeah, those things are awesome. I will only ever use those now. Because I discovered those when I was doing the Kumano Kodo, and my feet got real messed up, and I had to use a bunch of those for that trip. After dinner, we went to Sapporo Factory, which is a shopping mall.
Yeah, the central atrium is beautiful. It's wide open and got huge glass windows on top. All these little lanterns, flowers. It's landscaped.
It's almost like a garden in there.
Yeah, it looks really cool. The stores were kind of underwhelming.
Yeah, I had been in Sapporo in 2015, and I remembered this mall being a little cooler. But yeah, the shops were not fun. I don't know.
Yeah, it was just kind of like big, off to the sides of the main atrium. They were just kind of like these big shops that had some clothes, nothing really special.
I felt like this was a mall where more locals might go than tourists, because a lot of the shops were like cell phone stores or
mattresses or furniture or stuff like that.
Camping gear.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
But if you're in the area, it's a beautiful mall.
It is. Don't feel like you can't miss it
Yeah.
or anything.
Yeah,
I'd
it's not a
say.
can't miss.
Yeah. And that night we went back to the hotel for a dip in the onsen. Oh, one more thing I want to mention is at Sapporo Factory, I had some corn tea. You'll see this around Hokkaido because Hokkaido is also known for its corn. They grow a lot of corn there. And I'd never had corn tea, but it tastes kind of how you would expect. It's a bit corny, but in a good way. I enjoyed it. I don't know. It was unusual, and that's what I go for when I'm in Japan. Is anything I haven't had before, so
Yeah.
had to give that a try. Oh, one more thing. I also had some Tokachi milk.
Lightly squeezed? What does that mean? We were gentle on the cow.
Yeah, they squeeze those udders real softly to make sure they're comfortable. I don't know, but this is from Tokachi, which is like southeast kind of Hokkaido. There's the Tokachi Plain. So I tried the Hakodate milk. I tried the Tokachi milk. It's all good stuff. All that Hokkaido milk. So the next morning, day 7, February 7th, we went to Nijo Market, which is Sapporo's big fish market. And frankly, I preferred the one in Hakodate for several reasons. One, the one in Hakodate is much bigger. 2, it was not nearly as crowded. And 3, I felt like the prices in Sapporo at Nijo Market were even crazier than the ones I saw in Hakodate.
Yeah, I'm really starting to get on the bandwagon of all these like main markets of these cities are like touristy and like really overpriced.
Yeah, this place was packed. Like it wasn't even comfortable walking around.
I wanted to try some Hokkaido melons. And I know it was winter and maybe that's part of it, but they had the tiniest slices of melon for like 1,500 yen. It was like 2 bites worth of melon.
Yeah.
I just couldn't do it. I was like, I'll be back in summer someday and I'll eat a juicy, fresh one for half the price.
Yeah. So we didn't spend too much time at the market. We headed back over to Tanukikoji Shopping Street, which we had walked through earlier, but everything was closed. And this time things were open. So that was really cool. We came across this shop that had a really funny name. It's Snobbish Babies. I think it was a baby clothing store. Is that it?
I don't know. We didn't go inside.
Yeah, I took a picture of the name because I thought it was hilarious.
We also stopped at a place that had toasted mochi.
Oh, yes.
With, I think it was red bean paste inside. Or you got one that had
wasn't it
pistachio or something.
It wasn't pistachio. It was some sort of nut, though.
Yeah.
They were
walnut?
good. Was it walnut paste in there? Whatever it was, they were very good.
They were very
it was
good.
just a
On
little
cold
souvenir
day
shop.
too. Like we were.
Yeah.
It was nice.
A souvenir shop that happened to be selling just some
you
little hot
got
treats.
like some cheese there and
I did buy
something
some
else.
Hokkaido cheese.
Yeah.
And one thing I was super excited to find on this shopping street was a guitar shop where they were having a special Snow Miku event, you guys. ESP, the guitar company, did a collaboration with Hatsune Miku, and they were selling all of this special edition Snow Miku guitar stuff. They had an actual Miku electric guitar that you could buy, and I kind of wish I had. I mean, look at that thing. It looks so cool.
It is cool.
But I did end up buying a bunch of guitar picks and little Snow Miku stands where she's playing guitar and stuff.
I think that's where I got my Miku mouse pad.
Oh, yeah. I should have gotten the little Miku ukulele. Maybe that would have been small enough I could sneak that onto the plane. Anyway, so then we went to Norbesa, which is a mall.
That was a fun one.
I had lunch at KFC because I had never tried KFC in Japan. But, it's a big thing there. It's the whole Christmas thing is all around KFC, right? So I wanted to try it, and it was pretty good. I guess it was different than the type of KFC we have here, I feel like. Much more like sandwich-based and, I don't know, just different. And apparently we found an arcade. Was this in that same mall, Paul?
I think so, yeah. It was a cool mall.
It was kind of a weed mall, right?
Yeah, they had a bunch of anime merch stores.
Oh, yeah, I did buy some stuff here.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. And then they had the Ferris wheel on top of the building, which actually gave some really good views of the city.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say if you want to get a view from up high, definitely go on the Ferris wheel. We did 2 rounds.
Yeah, it was like 100 yen more to go around a second time or something.
like,
It was,
why not?
yeah. And I mean, it's a 7-story building or something, and then the Ferris wheel's on top. So by the time you're on the top of the Ferris wheel, you're way up there.
That's a pretty cool picture of you, don't you think, Paul? Looking contemplatively out at the distance.
I do look kind of cool there. Yeah.
Yeah, nice views. So then we headed back to the hotel to chill for a bit before the podcast meetup.
We did pass the Hokkaido Prefectural Government Office building on the way back, or the former one. It's another huge red brick, beautiful building.
Yep, lots of red brick in Hokkaido.
Though the museum was closed that day, so we didn't get inside, but
yeah,
it's gorgeous.
So then we met right under the Nika whiskey sign in Susukino for the podcast meetup. And who shows up but
Johnny,
a fellow podcaster, actually. And he had been at the previous podcast meetup in Tokyo. So it was really cool to see him again.
Yeah.
And he had not let us know or anything that he was showing up. It was such a great surprise to see his face.
Yeah, he just dropped by. I was like, oh, man. That was cool. As we were hanging out, waiting for everyone to arrive, we finally got to see the Snomiku tram go by.
Yeah, that was pretty exciting. I got a last-minute picture. Not the best picture, but...
Yeah, you got a bit of it.
Yeah, the turnout for the meetup was great. We had a lot of fun. We had a few towers of Sapporo Classic, I believe.
That was good. Yeah, I learned that I really like Ardbeg whiskey.
Oh, yeah, we had some Ardbeg.
That's nice smoky scotch.
Yep. I had some Lafroig there, too. And we actually had a couple listeners from Scotland that came. So we had some nice conversation about whiskey a little bit. So yeah, I don't know. It was just really fun. I mean, what can you say? We had some new faces. We had some old faces. Jesse and Beth showed up, too. They had been at the meetup, 2 meetups prior to this, right?
Yep.
And we spent that day with them in Nico. So it was really awesome to see them again.
Yeah. We also had some other Australians show up as well. And I think that we can now call friends. We all had a great time. It was a really nice group. We all got to chat. I got to talk to everybody this time. I think in the past, there's always been a couple people that I didn't really get to connect with. So everybody was really cool. And I got to learn a little bit about everybody.
Yeah. And, we had people from Scotland and Australia, both big drinking cultures, right? So they were kind of in competition over who could drink the other under the table.
I don't remember that happening. I feel like I drank the most, maybe. And I shouldn't have.
I don't know. There were some jokes about that, but yeah, we didn't get too crazy.
It was a lot of fun. I think we hung out for 4 hours or something there at the bar. A lot of good conversation.
Yeah, it was a great time.
Yeah, it was nice. Always a highlight of the trip to meet people.
For sure. I guess that was the end of day 7, so that must be where we're ending this episode, huh?
Yep. That's the first week of the 3-week trip.
All right, well, join us next time for part 2 of the trip recap, week 2.
We've only been through 1 snow festival already. We got so much more coming.
Yeah, there's a lot more snow
oh, man.
In the next week.
We're going to be all snowed out by the end of next week, I think.
Yep. I'll mention the Patreon again. I'm going to try to get that video recap up as soon as possible. And also, the poll hasn't happened yet, but I'm excited to see what topic our patrons choose for this season.
Yeah, that's always exciting, and to get an episode chosen for us.
Got a couple suggestions up there already, so that'll be fun to start the poll soon.
Nice.
Well, before we go, we should thank our Shogun level patrons: Doug Whitfield, Georgette and Caitlin Seymour, John W., Kelly Ardong, Pamela Arola, Jack, Brady K., Yasmin, and Kevin Harris. Thank you all so much for your support.
Thank you.
And Emperor Eric.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you so much. Well, this feels weird, ending the episode without asking you, Paul, what's coming up next time, but...
Everybody knows.
Yeah. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.